This is not a love story. This is the story of how the woman I loved most in this world destroyed me with her lies. And why I let her. For years, I thought she was my truth. My reason. My only anchor in a world built on shadows. When Lila smiled, I believed in her light. When she whispered my name, I believed I belonged to someone who would never hurt me. But belief is dangerous. The first time I caught her lying, I told myself it was nothing. Just a slip. Just nerves. I wanted so badly to trust her that I buried the doubt deep inside, choking it down until it rotted in my chest. And yet, lies don't stay buried. They crawl back up, one by one, demanding to be heard. Started small. A detail about her past that didn't match. A phone call that cut off too quickly. A glance over her shoulder, like someone was always watching. I should have walked away then. I should have run. But her touch was addictive. Every lie she told, I forgave. Every secret she kept, I let slide. Because losing her felt worse than living blind. And then came the night I learned the truth, the kind of truth that doesn't just break you, changes you. If I had walked away before, maybe I would have been spared. Maybe I wouldn't have drowned in the fire of her betrayal. But I stayed. And that choice destroyed everything. Looking back, the signs were always there. Her stories never aligned perfectly. One day, she said her father left when she was a child. Another day, she claimed he died in a car accident. I wanted to question her. But every time doubt entered my mind, she'd reach for me, press her lips against mine, and silence the storm with one touch. That was her power. Not just her beauty, but her ability to twist reality. With Lila, lies didn't sound like lies. They sounded like music. They felt like salvation. Still, sometimes I caught glimpses of the cracks. She'd disappear for hours, claiming she was with her best friend. But her phone would be off. Her eyes would darken when I asked questions, and she'd smile too sweetly, as if daring me to push further. And the worst part? I didn't push, because the thought of losing her was heavier than the weight of the truth. One night, I followed her. I told myself I was crazy, paranoid, but my gut wouldn't let me rest. She left just after midnight, dressed in black, moving quickly through the streets like someone who didn't want to be seen. I stayed far enough behind, every nerve in my body burning. She stopped outside an old warehouse on the edge of town. The windows were dark, but shadows moved inside. She slipped through the door, glancing over her shoulder as if she knew someone was watching. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I didn't know who Lila really was, and if I kept chasing the truth, I might not survive it. I stayed in the shadows, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The warehouse looked abandoned, rust creeping up its walls, windows cracked, the faint hum of traffic in the distance. But inside, muffled voices echoed. I crept closer, pressing myself against the cold metal door. Through a narrow slit, I saw them. Figures huddled around a table, papers scattered, money stacked in neat piles. And then her, Lila. Her head was bent low as she spoke, her voice sharp, calculated. Not the soft, tender tone I knew in bed. Not the voice that whispered love against my skin. This was different, colder, stronger. I froze. She wasn't just lying about little things. She wasn't just hiding parts of her past. She was involved in something dangerous, something that reeked of crime and betrayal. One of the men laughed and placed a gun on the table. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she leaned forward and smirked like she belonged there, like she had belonged there all along. I stumbled back, the world tilting under my feet. Who was she? I wanted to confront her right there, but fear anchored me in place. I left the warehouse without her noticing, every step heavier than the last. When I got home, I couldn't sleep. Her lies weren't just lies, they were a mask. And I was in love with the mask, not the woman behind it. The worst part? Even knowing the truth, I still wanted her. When she came back the next morning, her hair damp from the shower, wearing that innocent smile I'd once died for, I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Where were you last night?" I asked, my voice sharp. Her eyes flickered just for a moment, but then she laughed softly. "I told you, with Mia." You're jealous again, aren't you? Jealous. That was her weapon. Any suspicion I had, she wrapped it in guilt and threw it back at me. But this time I didn't bend. I followed you. Her smile froze. Slowly, she lowered her coffee cup, her hands steady even as her eyes turned cold. You followed me? Yes, to the warehouse. Silence. A silence so thick it pressed against my chest. Then she did something I'll never forget. She smiled. Not the sweet, innocent smile, but something sharper, crueler. You shouldn't have been there. It wasn't denial. It wasn't fear. It was a warning. My stomach nodded. What are you involved in, Lila? Who are you? She stepped closer, brushing her fingers against my cheek. Her touch was tender, but her words were poison. I'm whoever you need me to be. That was the moment I realized something. She wasn't going to tell me the truth, because the truth wasn't something she planned to share. It was something she planned to bury. And maybe bury me along with it. After that night, things changed between us. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was always this way, and I just started seeing it clearly. Every kiss felt like a lie. Every promise dripped with poison. But still, I couldn't walk away. She had a hold on me, stronger than any chain. I started noticing more. The strange phone calls at 3 a.m. The bruises on her arms she brushed off as accidents. The way men on the street seemed to recognize her, nodding with respect or fear. I wanted answers, but every time I pushed, she twisted me back into silence. Don't you trust me? She'd whisper, her lips brushing my neck. And God help me, I did, even when I knew I shouldn't. But love built on lies isn't love. It's addiction. And I was overdosing. One evening, she didn't come home. Hours stretched into dawn. Panic gnawed at me until finally, around sunrise, I heard the door creak open. She stumbled in, her dress torn, blood on her hands. Lila. What the hell happened? I rushed to her, but she pushed me back. Don't ask, she whispered, her voice shaking for the first time. And that was when I realized the depth of it. She wasn't just lying to protect herself. She was lying to protect me. From what? I didn't know. But I was about to find out. The blood wasn't hers. She washed it off in silence, her hands trembling, her eyes hollow. I wanted to press her, demand answers, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the way she looked. Fragile, broken, human. Later that day, I searched her things. I knew it was wrong, but love and desperation make thieves of us all. In her drawer, hidden beneath silk lingerie, I found it. A gun. Cold, heavy, loaded. And next to it, a stack of passports. Different names, different countries, different faces, all hers. My breath caught. The woman I loved didn't exist. She was a collection of masks, stitched together by lies. When she caught me holding the passports, she didn't scream. She didn't even look surprised. Instead, she walked toward me slowly, her eyes unreadable. You weren't supposed to see that, she whispered. Who are you, Lila? My voice cracked. Tell me the truth, for once. Her silence was deafening. Then finally, she said, if I tell you, you'll never look at me the same way again. But she was wrong, because no matter what truth she carried, no matter how deep the lies ran, I already knew I could never stop loving her. And that was the most dangerous truth of all. That night, she broke. Maybe it was the weight of the lies. Maybe it was the way I looked at her. Pleading, desperate, broken myself. She sat across from me, her face pale, her hands shaking as she whispered words that shattered me. My name isn't Lila. Not really. The girl you fell in love with doesn't exist. She was created. A mask. She told me about the men at the warehouse, about debts owed, enemies made, and a life she'd been running from long before she met me. I lied because it was safer, she said. For both of us. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to scream, to throw her lies back in her face. But instead, I found myself reaching for her hand, because even as the world tilted off its axis, even as every word unraveled the life we'd built, couldn't let go. I don't care who you are, I whispered. You're mine, And in that moment, for the first time, she cried. But tears don't wash away sins. They only stain deeper. For a while, things felt different, almost real. She let me in more, shared pieces of her past, pieces of herself. And I clung to it, desperate to believe that love could save us both. But lies don't die easy. One night, I woke to find her gone again. This time, I didn't follow. I waited, and when she returned, something inside me already knew. The smell of cologne that wasn't mine clung to her skin. Her hair was messy, her lips swollen. She lied smoothly, telling me she was out handling business. But her body betrayed her. Her silence screamed louder than words. And still, I couldn't leave, because the thought of losing her cut deeper than the thought of her betraying me. That was the night I realized. Love wasn't keeping us together. Obsession was. And obsessions always end in blood. The next morning, I confronted her. Who was he? She didn't deny it, didn't even flinch. Instead, she looked me dead in the eye and whispered, "It doesn't matter. You're still here, aren't you?" And she was right. I hated myself for it, but I stayed. Because even broken, even lying, even betraying me, she was mine. But the warehouse men were watching. I saw them more often now, lurking near our building, eyes sharp, hands hidden beneath jackets. It was only a matter of time before her lies caught up to both of us. And when they did, I'd have to make a choice. Save her, or save myself. It happened fast. Too fast. A knock at the door. A shadow in the window. The sound of breaking glass. Then chaos. Men stormed inside, guns drawn, shouting her real name. Names I didn't even know. Lila grabbed my hand, dragging me out the back as bullets tore through the walls. We ran through the night, the city a blur of lights and sirens. My chest burned, my legs shook, but still I ran. Because her hand was in mine and that was enough. We hid in an abandoned motel on the edge of town. Her breath was ragged, her hands shaking as she pressed her forehead to mine. "They won't stop until I'm gone," she whispered. "You should leave. You should save yourself." But I couldn't. I wouldn't, because love had already ruined me. And if I was going to burn, I'd burn with her. For days, we stayed hidden. Every sound outside made me flinch. Every shadow felt like a threat. But for the first time, she let herself be vulnerable, soft, scared, human. And I thought maybe, just maybe, we had a chance. But then came the letter, slipped under the door, and signed, but written in her handwriting. It was short, brutal, final. "I'm sorry I can't stay. Forget me." By the time I found it, she was gone. No note, no trace. Just silence. It was her final lie, the promise that we'd face this together. And she broke it. It's been years now. Years since I last saw her. Since the lies unraveled and the truth burned us both to ash. Sometimes I wonder if she's still alive. If she still wears one of her masks, smiling at another man the way she once smiled at me. But deep down, I know the truth. She'll always be with me, because love doesn't end with lies. It lingers, it rots, carves itself into your bones until you can't tell where you end and where the other begins. She lied to me for years, and I still couldn't stop loving her. Maybe I never will. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more dark romance stories.